Let me show you the best way to get your air fryer nice and clean. Now there are a ton of different shapes and sizes and kinds of air fryers on the market. Some are like this that are more of a basket. Others look more like a toaster oven and have some shelves here. But the first step is always the same. We want to take everything apart and completely disassemble the air fryer. So now that we got everything taken out of this one here, you'll notice there are a ton of crumbs all over the place. Now before we spray any cleaners down, what I like to do is just either grab a dry piece of paper towel, try to remove as much of those crumbs. Even a vacuum cleaner works really well. That's kind of my preferred method. Just use the brush attachment, suck all those greasy crumbs up, and then we can start degreasing. Now the cleaner I like to use is Dawn Power Wash. The reason being is it's strong enough to cut through the grease and grime, but it's not too strong where it could potentially cause damage. Now you might be tempted to go grab your oven cleaner from underneath your sink. Yes, this is a great degreaser, but unfortunately it is so powerful that it will completely remove the nonstick coating. So what I like to spray down first is all the components we removed. Just bring those over to the sink, spray them down with the Dawn Power Wash, and we're gonna let those sit for about 10 to 20 minutes while we clean the inside of the machine. Now, when it comes to cleaning the inside, I always have to mention this, make sure the machine is completely unplugged. We don't wanna be spraying cleaners on if it's still plugged in to the wall. For the inside, we're gonna follow that same process, spray down the Dawn Power Wash, let it set for a little bit, and then we're gonna come through and give everything a good scrub. Now, one nice thing about an air fryer is it's small enough usually where you can kind of move it around a little bit and even tilt it upside down. Now, you'll notice here the actual heating element here. I don't like to spray the cleaner completely on there just because that can cause damage, but I will come through and just give everything a good scrub. And we're gonna rinse this in a second here, but just be mindful of that area. You wanna really make sure that no soap is left behind. Now, if you do need a little extra scrubbing power on the really bad baked on grime, what I do suggest is using steel wool grade 00000, 4 zeros here. Make sure the surface is nice and lubricated with the cleaner, and then come through and just scrub down the area. This should pull off anything that's stuck to the surface there that maybe the scrub daddy just didn't quite get. So I just got done scrubbing here. I noticed a few areas that needed a little extra detail, so I just grabbed a toothpick. This worked great to kind of work around the edges here to pull out some of the grime. And then this vent down here and kind of this edge here was hard to get in with just a normal scrubber. So a handy dandy pipe cleaner works great for this. Now, if you guys need any of the tools that I'm using in today's video, definitely check the link down in the description below. So once everything is nice and scrubbed up, just gonna come through with a damp towel and start rinsing the entire machine here. Just wanna come through and wipe away all the grease, but along with that, any cleaner, we don't wanna leave any of that behind. Now you'll notice here where the heating element is, you gotta be very careful, like I mentioned, with cleaner. It looks better, but it's not completely 100% clean. And I've cleaned a lot of air fryers, and usually that's about as good as you can get it. Now, sometimes you can take a few of these parts out. I just feel like once you start unscrewing things and taking it apart, you always run the risk of not being able to put it back together, and then your machine will never work the same again. So now that the inside is nice and clean, what we're gonna do is just take a moment and get the outside looking just as good. Now for this, we can just use the Dawn Power Wash, spray that down, scrub it in, give it a quick rinse, buff it with a dry microfiber towel, and it will be nice and shiny. Let's go finish all the racks. Now, if you do have the basket version here and it's just not coming clean with the Dawn Power Wash, sometimes all the nooks and crannies in these are just really hard to scrub at just because you can't quite get in there. What you can do is just grab about 2 to 3 cups of water and a squirt of Dawn dish soap, place it in the basket, and then put it back into the machine and turn it on for 5 minutes at 300 degrees. This hack works really well because it steams up all that baked on grease and grime, making it easier to release from the surface so you can easily rinse it away. Now the goal is to rinse all the surfaces so there's no soap left behind, but once I get everything nice and cleaned and put back together, I do like to run the machine for about 5 to 10 minutes. That way I burn off anything that's left behind in the machine. And there you have it, everything cleaned up great, and now you know the best way to clean up your air fryer. I want to give a huge shout out to the Clean Squad over on Patreon. If you want to learn more about that and how you can support the channel, check the link down in the description below, and I'll see you on the next clean.